Well, Sheba Israel Adonai Lochanu Adonai Chad after be call Babe Kabe call Nafshe Kabe call me Odeka. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, as one Lord, and you must love the Lord with all your heart, with all your strength, and with all your might. I love it when I'm fluent in the Hebrew language. But there is a hymnal that I really, really love. PHB 227. Yesu Christo ne ohene amanse nyina ahye na se ode won ahye ne nsa. Techirema nyina beka se Yesu Christo nkuto ni wura esese odidodi. And that is why at every point in time when we're starting this interviews, I always want to acknowledge God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Today, in the studio with me, I have the national president of the YPG and also the general secretary of the YPG. And these two wonderful people are here to help me to discuss about the Youth and Students Week that is about coming, and actually we've actually gotten into it. And definitely, we're going to have a wonderful education. We're going to be equipped, we're going to be informed with the information that they're going to give to us regarding YPG. So stick around with me, don't go anywhere. This is PCG TV in thy light, there is light. I will return back and we'll get into the discussion. Stay glued to your set. Well, welcome back. This is PCG TV in the light. There is light. My name is Humphrey. And we are getting into the discussions. And I have with me in the studio the president of the YPG, Mr. Edwin Osei Ihring, and the general secretary, who happens to be Beatrice Kumia Ado. And I have them in the studio. We're discussing the Youth and Students Week. You're welcome, sir and madam.
Thank you.
I hope you're fine.
By God's grace.
Great. We thank God so much. I'm starting from you ladies first, general. How long have you been in office?
For almost 2 years.
For 2 years. Okay. And how has it been?
So far, so good. God has been on our side, so I'll say it has been very good. We've realized most of our vision, so to the glory of God, I'll say it has been very good. Despite the many challenges we've had, I'll still say it has been very good.
Yeah. Okay. Before I get to the president, did you ever dream that one day you become the general secretary of the YP? Because that's a huge portfolio, you know.
Truthfully, I never dreamt of becoming the general secretary. I took minor positions at the congregational level, but then I never dreamt of being the general secretary at the national level. Okay, that's great. So, sir, I want us to delve just straight into the YPG stuff. And what is YPG all about? For the sake of those who are not Presbyterians who are even watching us, but what is YPG?
Thank you so much. So YPG is actually an abbreviation which stands for the Young People's Guild. Okay. And basically the YPG is a platform there for the young people in the Presbyterian Church of Ghana to realize their potential and act on it. So YPG actually started with a young accountant from the Church of Scotland who came as a missionary into the then Presbyterian Church of Gold Coast, who realized that as a youth, there should be a platform for the youth in the year 1937. Okay. Coming down to the year 1938 was when we had our first YPG National Conference at Osu. And it was there that we had our first elections for the Bannerman, who became the first president. And later on, by then we realized about 5 youth groups in the church as at then, in Kofodia, Suhum, Krobo Dumase, and the others. It was out of this that we came there. By then, we didn't have a YAF by then. So the youth group was quite huge, the age range. It was out of that about 16 years now, the YAF was carved out of form. But now, the Young People's Guild, which is also known as the YPG, is from the ages of 18 to 30 years of all youth in the Presbyterian Church of Ghana.
That's great. So with regards to the beginning of the YPG and its introduction into the church, what do you think has become the impact of the youth within the church?
Great. Thank you once again. The impact of the youth in the church has been very massive. I would say that about 85% of our current ministers of the church went through the YPG.
Okay.
And you can see it in the administration,
Okay.
in all that they do. Apart from that, looking at the music ministry of the church, anywhere you go, you see that it is the youth who are taking up some of these things. And just to say this, our current moderator of the church was once a youth, was once at the youth front.
Okay.
During the days where we realized, after Atkinson's time, when we realized that we need a youth desk, a youth front, he was one of the people who liaised with the Basel missionary for us to get a youth office, which was later developed into the Clarksmans. And here we are this day. I can also talk of Setekwe in government. He's well known in the country as a minister. He was also once a national YPG treasurer.
Oh, wow.
Among many others that we could mention. So you could know just not only the church, but in the country as well.
He got that anointing
To the
and
finance.
inspiration to
Exactly.
finance.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's beautiful. And with regards to the impact of the youth in the church, let me ask this: what percentage currently does the youth constitute within PCG?
Currently, the youth is the third large number when it comes to the population, looking at the children and that of the elderly. The youth goes beyond 200,000 membership in the church, and that's quite a number that we are operating with now.
Wow! And as national organizers, how do you keep touch on all these over 200,000 people?
I would say it's quite a miracle and a grace at the same time. We don't work alone.
Okay.
We work with our presbytery leaderships, that of the district leadership, and the congregation as well.
Okay.
So through them, we are able to reach all the members of the YPG through visitations as well, during events in these presbyteries, in the congregation, and in the district as well. This is how come we're able to get in touch.
In a way, you're saying that the structure is quite right and the structure is working well for you.
The structure is working very well.
Okay.
Very, very well.
And
for us.
the YPG, according to the structure of the church, actually works under the supervision of the church life and nurture, right?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. YPG is one of the groups under the church life and nurture. We do nothing without the church life and nurture, thanks to our current director, the Reverend Joshua Bosman Ohene, who has always been directing us here and there. And we really can do. YPG is not autonomous. I think we have to establish that fact. We work directly under the church life and nurture of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana.
Okay, let me come to the general. Beatrice, how is it difficult handling the youth?
Okay, so I hear most people saying that handling a group of people who constitute majority of youth is quite difficult because of what our background and into our behaviors, where we find ourselves. So obviously you don't expect someone who is let's say, well-educated as compared to someone who is not so well-educated to behave the same way.
Sure.
So if I should tell one person to act this way, and then because the person has a better background, the person will understand me easily. Yes, so handling the youth, by the grace of God, we are still on this, but it's quite difficult because sometimes if you have to make decisions, because you come from various backgrounds, it's quite difficult to get everyone to understand you and everyone to move in the same direction with you.
Okay. And let me ask this, Presido, all the presbyteries are under the national office, right?
Yes, all the 21.
All the 21.
Yes, all the
including
21.
the outside presbyteries.
Yes.
How do you coordinate them? How do you handle the outside presbyteries?
Well, just as I said, we work with the presbytery leaderships.
Okay.
So we liaise with them. They are always present during our council meetings. If there are any issues in the presbytery, they let us know.
Okay.
I think we've been handling few of, to be specific, the overseas. Recently, they were having a few issues with regards to leadership.
Okay.
And we had to step in, advise them, meet them one-on-one here and there, and solve it. So distance is not actually a barrier for us. We are working on that.
So that means that you handle both issues of leadership, issues of finance, issues of growth, everything youth comes to the national desk.
Exactly, sir.
Okay.
Exactly.
I just wanted us to establish that.
Exactly.
For the sake of those who are watching us right now, who are probably not Presbyterians or probably just got converted into the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and they don't really understand the systems very well. Okay, so what is the vision for this particular national executive? What are you looking up to achieving?
Okay, so our vision for the current executives, our 3-year vision, one had to do with mobilizing for evangelism.
Okay.
Wanted to add numbers to the church. One also has to do with providing or promoting the well-being of the youth in the church, and the other also has to do with financing of the youth. And basically, these are the things. There are a lot of activities going on with regards to this, but basically, these are what we are working on.
Why did you pick on evangelism as a first or a major thing for the youth, mobilizing people to join the church?
Wow, I would say, let me take that from the point of a Christian, not only a Presbyterian. I believe the Great Commission is for all Christians. And as a church, it is our sole mandate to go out there, evangelize and bring people to Christ, not necessarily to the church, but to Christ. So that is our core mandate to do, not only to add numbers. There are even places that we go, you evangelize with people, you evangelize to people, and you have to let them go to other churches per what they want. So evangelism is our core mandate to do as Christians. And as youth, we are the ones with the macho, we are the ones with the strength to go out there, walk the walk and talk the walk, and get people to Christ.
I love that. And how do you ensure the well-being of the youth as it's also being part of the
Thank you so much. When we are talking about the well-being of the youth, first let me establish that at this age, between the 18 to 30 years, the youth battle with a lot of things. Some has to do with education, someone is searching for job, someone, among other things. And we believe the government can do all. That is why the church is also in place. Looking at the well-being of the youth automatically grows the church. And that is why we wanted to focus there so much. Currently, we have something called the Endowment Fund, which is looking directly to the well-being of the youth. We look at granting scholarship to the youth within this age bracket. We open the portal, you apply, we assess you if you qualify, we do the grants for you, we pay your fees to develop yourself. To develop
Then
yourself.
definitely you get a lot of people applying.
A lot. As of last year, we had over 500 people applying. But we had to scale them down. We have to scale all these people down to make sure.
Is it something that everybody within the youth front knows? Because if you're talking about over 200,000 people, and just over 500 people applying, then that means that it's still a lesser number.
Yes.
Because you need to have about 5,000 people applying.
Sure. So,
applying.
Yes, what I would say about that is the scholarship, especially with regards to the education, is only for first degree. First degree, the colleges, being nursing and teacher training. And also we look at the NVTI part of it as well. So we can actually believe that or accept the fact that a lot of young people in our church now have their first degrees already. We just want to create the platform for the others who are, for the lack of words to say, lagging behind, to also join the pool for the betterment of the church.
So if I'm getting you rightly, if I'm a YPG member in my congregation and I have a problem with getting funding for education, and I get on the portal and I apply, there's a probability that, not that I will get it, but there's a probability that because I'm a YPG member, I can get some funding.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Then generally you are paying a lot of fees. You are paying first degree, nursing training, teacher training, and all that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a good initiative.
Very, very good. I would also want to establish that I think the church as a whole is doing this already for the youth as well.
Okay.
I think in all the courts of the church, there is a portion for scholarship for youth.
Okay. That's beautiful. Getting to the third point that you raised with regards to financing, how do you get funding for yourself as an executive?
So with regards to funding, the youth basically, apart from the dues from membership, there's always a percentage that comes out of Youth and Student Week celebration. So during the Youth Week celebration, the last day, which is supposed to be the climax and Thanksgiving, which is the Sunday, there's a fundraising for youth work on that Sunday. And a percentage of it, 15% of it, from whatever that is realized at that particular congregation, comes up to the national for us to use for all national work, being evangelism, this endowment fund I made mention, and that of administrative work as well.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that's why you're able to get, because I'm just looking at youth within the range of 20 years to 30 years, right? Or probably 18 to 30 years. And let's say the earlier years not really working.
Exactly.
Probably 18 to 23, 24 might be in school. Now, want to school first degree, second, postgraduate, PhD. So sometimes even still 27 years, probably the person will be schooling and not really working. And you having that mindset of helping, supporting, paying fees for others and all that, as to how you get the funding. That's why I just wanted to establish that. But that's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea, and I believe that you need to be commended for the good job that you are doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for thinking about the youth.
Thank you so much. Talking about funding, still on funding as well, I would also want to establish that there's another program which is called RYPE, R-Y-P-E, which is Raising Young Presbyterian Entrepreneurs. And this also in line with the well-being of the youth in our church. The church actually comes in with this project. What they are looking at is to recruit young people in the church, provide them with viable jobs. So the basics of it is for any individual, any youth within the church, for you to apply with your idea that you have. Upon accepting your proposal, the church actually schools you through your idea, and upon making sure that you are up and doing with the idea, the church in one way or the other fund you for you to start your project or your idea, creating jobs for the youth. Just as I said, the nation or the government can't do it all, and the church is here to help and is doing marvelously in that side as well.
Well, folks, the government definitely can't do it all, and the church is helping. Presbyterian Church has been helping right from day one, and I believe that that's what the YPG executives are also trying to do, to continue with the good work that their earlier predecessors actually started. And they are also doing it very well. Don't go anywhere, just stick around with me. We'll be right back after this break. Well, you're welcome back. This is PCG TV. In thy light, there is surely light. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and I have with me in the studios Mr. Edwin Osei Eshring and Ms. Beatrice Kumia Ado. And we're having a wonderful, wonderful discussion about the youth. We're switching straight into the Youth and Students Week and what it's all about. So, General, I start with you. The Youth and Students Week. Somebody might be hearing it for the very first time.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm doing interviews like this, I don't just consider just Presbyterians alone, because a lot of people are watching. And some people also got converted, probably through evangelism. They might not know anything about the Presbyterian Church. So I just came in as a convert last 3 weeks. And you're saying you're doing Youth and Students Week. What is it about?
Okay, so Youth and Students Week is an annual celebration for not just YPG members, but also for our students. So it includes members of the NUPSG.
Okay.
Yes, that is why it's Youth and Students Week.
Okay.
Yeah, so during the celebration, we set aside a whole week to have series of activities where the objectives of the YPG are realized during that week. Yes, so we get the opportunity to inform other people what the YPG is doing, what the students are equally doing. So in our schools, we can have the celebration in our schools, and at home, the YPG basically can do that. So during Youth and Students Week, even though it is Youth and Students Week celebration, it is not just for the youth, it is not just for the students. It involves other members of the church, caretakers, agents, members of the YAF, the men's fellowship, the women's fellowship, even in the intergenerational groups. Yes, so it involves everyone. The youth will be the frontliners, but then this year specifically, we are pleading on this platform that each and everyone should get involved. Mostly, you go to some congregations and it's just like a normal youth meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is quite unfortunate. So this year, we are pleading that even if we are seeing Christ as our Alpha and Omega, yes, we should equally get involved in this year's celebration. Yes.
That's very true. I think I've realized that in some few congregations, that sometimes the Youth and Students Week is like, you go there and it's like YPG is having a meeting.
Yes.
but that is not how it's supposed to be. Everybody, man. So I want you to plead again to session of every, specifically session of every congregation.
Okay, so,
yes, talk to. That's your camera. Talk to session members everywhere.
So,
I'm not picking up on session members. I have session members everywhere. We are pleading with. So please, General.
Okay, so
once the General is here, General, talk to them.
All right. I want to use this opportunity to plead with all congregational sessions. Without you, I don't think the national will even be in existence, because the members of the church are in the congregation. They are not in the district, they are not in the presbytery, neither are they in the national, as YPG will say. So if YPG at the congregational level is not developing, if you don't see the growth there, we are equally not going to see it at the district level, neither are we going to see it at the presbytery level or the national level. So we are pleading with the congregational session to get involved this time, to be of support. We keep saying that the youth is the backbone of the church, but then unfortunately in some congregations, the bone is shaking. So we are pleading with the congregational session to get involved, to be of support. Your maximums, we want to see you this time. Get involved, not just in finance, just to say that we'll be invited as chairpersons on the Thanksgiving Day, but then kindly get involved throughout the week, right from the official luncheon to the climax. We are pleading with you to get involved, know what the youth want. I'm very sure that if we are to get involved, we will know why some people are leaving the church and how best we can help them stay in the church and also enjoy some of the benefits some of us are enjoying from where we sit. Yes.
That's a good call from the General Secretary of the YPG, PCG, and I'm quoting her, the youth, the backbone of the church, but the bone is shaking. I love that. The bone is shaking. So what are some of the activities that have been outlined for the week, and what should we expect?
Okay, so this year we are starting on the 3rd of March.
Okay.
So on the 3rd of March, we have our official luncheon in all congregations, and right from 4th to 10th, there are a series of activities. So on 4th, we'll have exposition on the theme. So the youth theme for the year is testifying of his glory and marvelous deeds, Psalm 96 verse 3. So the agent or minister in charge will expose the youth and all other members, all other participants on the theme for the year. So on Tuesday, There's a talk on emotional balance, yes, where the resource person would have to help participants to accept certain challenges that has to do with life, unemployment, singleness, about relationship, their God factor, etc. So on Wednesday, there's a very thought-provoking debate, and the topic for the debate is speaking in tongues, a sign of spiritual maturity.
Wow.
Yes, so I once again want to plead with agents to be there. If you are so busy on Monday, on Tuesday, you wouldn't want to miss what the
Wednesday.
youth will have for us on Wednesday. Yes, so you would have to be there to know more from the youth and also to advise them. Maybe biblically we've read certain things, but then our interpretation during the debate might not really be what it should be. So we would plead with agents, members of the session, and every other person to be there. So on Thursday, there's a relationship talk on my love, his or her health, and my faith. Yes, where a counselor or any learned person will be involved to share his or her knowledge. Yes, and then gets the youth and all other people present well abreast with issues of having a partner,
Relationship.
yes, your
related
faith,
matters.
your health. Yes, so it's kind of coaching someone as to who to be with, who not to be with.
Okay.
Yes, so on Friday, we would want to be on the mountain with Jesus.
Okay.
Yes, so the congregation can either have a half night or an all-night service.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a youth service. Anything that would include prayer, worship, anything that will get us close to the throne of God. We are in. So on Saturday, there'll be a local program where the congregation would have to organize any activity that's beneficial to the church and the community. So currently, there's an election here. So it can be a peace campaign, a talk on climate change, anything beneficial to the community and the congregation is much appreciated. So on Sunday, God willing, there'll be the climax of the entire week-long program, where, as usual, we would need some funds.
Okay.
Yes, so there'll be a Thanksgiving service and then a fundraising service as
service
well.
as
Yes, so once again, we are pleading that this time the support will be massive.
Okay.
Yes, and then remittances will be made on time. So, as my president said earlier, if you want to support members of the endowment fund, we are not going to keep delaying the applicants because we've not yet received remittances from the local level. So we are pleading with the ministers to help us as we are helping them. And I'm very sure if they are to help us in this regard, if they call on us to do anything in the church,
It will be.
yes, we'll be readily available to serve the church and God as whole.
Okay. So these activities are going to be like within local,
Yes,
congregations. Is there any plan for like let's say a presbytery doing something together, all the maybe national having it, or it's something that is not really done?
It is done. It is done.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So presbyteries, especially she made mention of the Friday being an open program. Mostly the Saturdays, you see presbyteries coming together to do donations, among other things. Though as a church, our social responsibility has never been left behind. At the national level like this year, every year, Youth and Student Week Saturday, we do donations, whether school, evangelism, to any other place that we want to do. This year, talking about leadership who were cropped out of the youth, we would want to visit the youth members who are now in their ministerial training, who would want to become ministers of our church. We want to visit them, share some time, spend some time with them, and see the way forward in their training. Presbyteries are doing these things. Other presbyteries are doing donations to prisons, among other things as well.
Oh, okay. And with the climax, the youth are going to do everything, right?
Everything, from the service leader, the one who will be preaching, all of them. Yes, Bible reading, the offertory prayer, So you have the leadership of the presbyteries going to their districts or congregations to be preaching to in some of these congregations. Ourselves at the national level too, we have the opportunity this year like this. We are in some congregations preaching and we share the word of God with them.
Okay. Before we wrap up, are there some challenges of the youth that the national office knows about that you feel needs to be addressed? What are some of the challenges that the youth are encountering within our church?
Okay. Thank you so much. I believe one basic challenge has to do with the involvement of the youth in the youth leadership and in the church as well. And I believe we've started something with regards to a few projects that we are doing, the RIPE, providing jobs, looking at the well-being of the youth. Automatically, if they are all well and doing well in their individual lives, one way or the other, they contribute to the youth work and to the church. One also has to do with youth living the church. And I believe it's a basic issue which has to do with people not knowing more about the church and what the church is currently doing, especially for the youth. Sometimes I meet people, then they will ask you, what is the church doing for the youth? Then I tell them that's the wrong question. You should rather ask, what is the church not doing for the youth? Because the church is doing everything for the youth. Involvement in decision making, trying to provide jobs, creating platforms for them to exhibit their talent, so on and so forth. So I believe these are the basic problems, and others has to do with funding as well, of which gradually, by the grace of God and the help from the church itself, under the church life and nature, gradually we'll get there.
Okay. General, what advice would you give to the youth with regards to staying, having that Presbyterian heritage in mind, holding up high in esteem our church, so that we don't have a lot of the youth leaving our church and staying, and making sure that together we extend the right hand of fellowship to ourselves and we help build the church to become a great one?
Okay, so I would tell the youth that previously we're not really seeing the involvement of the youth in decision making. But then as time went on, certain things are changing. There's a lot in stock for the youth. Unfortunately, some are yet to see it. But then from where I sit, I would tell them that just as I was saying earlier, that I never imagined being the general secretary.
Yeah.
I didn't know something like this was in stock for me. But then because I stayed in the church, to the glory of God, I am here. So I would advise them that there's more in stock for us. Be available. I believe if you are available, be available and useful. If you're available and not useful, you would not see what is in stock for you. So if you're available and useful, obviously, if your minister should see that you're available and you're useful, even from the local level, you'll be used, and automatically from the district, the presbytery to the higher level, your deeds will be portrayed out there, and you can be able to have that sense of belonging in the church. Personally, I don't know, but then I'm yet to find a church who has so much, how best should I put it? But then the lyrics of our hymns mean so much to me, yes. So I wonder why I will leave PCG to any other church where, not to say their hymns do not really, yes, but then the Presbyterian hymn sometimes speaks to our souls, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. If you are battling with issues, if you really understand the lyrics of the hymn, you will get to know that aside the hymns, aside what the church has to offer, aside what the youth has to offer, there's a lot in the church. So I will plead with the youth to stay in the church, to be useful, to make themselves available. Yes, and if you have to do all of these things, you realize that there's no need for you to go any other way. Even so, the ladies, even if you are married to someone who is not a Presbyterian,
you should still find a way in.
Yes.
Hallelujah. 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 Wow, this from General. So ladies, this from General. Well, all too soon we have to come to the end of this particular interview. But before we come to the end, there's a special request that Presido and General will sing the YPG anthem before they leave the set today. And but me will request to be you can speak Ghana.
Just tell us, not
just a little.
Yes.
Okay. So you are just going to just tell the people within Ghana Presbytery,
okay.
especially the youth. Say, Omum brother should participate in the youth program.
Yeah, participation in Ghana.
Participation in Ghana. then President, you speak Equiapim. You can, yes. So Equiapim no. Come pa mami. Not just say just in 30 seconds. Just in 30 seconds. So that's your camera.
Okay. Well, YPGB in your Ghana Presbytery. Madum on the care platform. Learn no ni. Minta make any fen ake. No ko papa ye YPG. Ni no ko papa ye PCG. Ewo nyen won pa ye fair fine. Ake kaji oye any form of challenge. The fine na nyakashi YPG. Nyakashi PCG. PCG ye a whole lot to offer. Yes, ewo nyen won pa ye fine wa ake keep being in the PCG, keep being in the YPG. Anyone on your activeness, yeah, YPG. Anyone on your availability, care, your usefulness, fair, your YPG. Yeah, you are done.
Okay, so we go to Equiapim, the national president.
Many animasum jeng kamo. Mejina kwenye iso na makachi mse mama yenyi na yemfa ye ho enhye ye na wotwe a yeredi mebu I official day yemfa ye ho nhyem dwumati biara bia efi joda kopem kwesida no yemfa ye ho nhyem ne yenkamom ne yenyi nyankopon anuonyam hya eda yenso no edi enkyira mansan nyina na minhyam
na just said the person ye kanyina na say obi amfa ne ho nhyem bi emabunu no general Kasibe made the power say be available and be useful so to say and tonight chiro honum na enka se na adi wedi enka ke yenisi yanka emabunu no yenisi yanka na nka oban na nanso asombi na nka waboa do nim die kakra na aboa masafo no etimi akoso. So we are ending your pon interview no kra but the anthem of YPG. So over to you.
To know his will and to do it. This is the purpose of the YPG. God be our help. God bless our church. Under his banner may all youth unite. To know his will and to do it. This is the purpose of the YPG. God be our help. God bless our church. Under his banner may all youth unite. Rally round his banner, he beats you one and all, with soul, with mind and body, to serve the King of Kings. Join hands with YPG, all youth within the church, to know his will and to do it. Rally round his banner, he beats you one and all, with soul, with mind and body, to serve the King of Kings. Join hands with YPG, all youth within the church, to know his will and to do it.
Well, to know his will and to do it, that's a wonderful anthem that the President and the General Secretary just gave to us. But before that, let's do acknowledgements. Some people that you want to say thank you to before I close.
Well, we would want to use this platform to first thank the immediate past moderator of the President Church of Ghana for his massive involvement in the youth work, of which it was during his administration that we realized this ripe, of which the youth is thriving on now. We would also want to thank the current moderator of the President Church of Ghana, the Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Nana Opare Kwache, And also we want to thank the clerk of the General Assembly, Reverend Dr. Ninoy Odonko. We would want to also thank our clan director, of which we operate directly under, the Reverend Joshua Bosman Ohene, for the massive support for the youth work and the guild. We also want to thank all leadership of the guild across board, from the presbytery, district, and the local, for all that they are doing, the leadership that they are giving the youth there. We want to thank the ministers in charge, agents, and the session of all congregations for continually supporting the youth work at the congregational level. We would also want to continue to plead with them that they should continue to support the youth in all regards, and of course, to know His will and to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, folks, we have come to the end of this exclusive interview with the YPG executives. Si Yesu wonchen na metina da na mesomu nkuto adibiere pame mefa okwampa so. Wone me nkwamu nkwa mekremu animunyam sene bobe mane ma nkwa no se woyema me nsonen. A wonderful hymnal from the Presbyterian hymn, and I love it so much. The youth, be part. General said, be available and be useful. Until same time, we'll come your way again. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and keep on watching PCG TV. In thy light, there is light.